The Democrats are suffering a total ratings disaster as their convention turns into a humiliating cringe fest. In this video, we're going to take a look at the second night of the continuous calamity they're trying to pass off as a convention, and how the public humiliation is being tempered by the simple fact that barely anybody is watching it. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. A huge welcome to all of our first-time viewers. We post 2 videos a day analyzing current events and live some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular visitor to this channel, where each and every single day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise, does that not sound great, of a new conservative age. Now, before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of the awesome motion detector ultra bright solar nightlight. You can install it anywhere because it's wireless, and you never need to worry about buying batteries because it's solar powered with a high powered battery storage pack. It's equipped with motion detectors, and it becomes an entertainment light for the patio and barbecue with just a click of a button. And those motion detectors, man, they are effective in deterring against burglars. And best of all, you don't have to spend a fortune for any of it. If you click on that link below right now, you'll get 52% off as well as free shipping. So what could possibly be better? Do not wait. Click on that link below or visit nightsolarlight.com and bring its light to the dark spaces in your home today. All right, gang, so let's dive right in here. As you all know, the Democrats are holding their convention this week. And we have to remember, this was supposed to be Joe Biden's greatest week of his whole campaign. Oh, Sleepy Joe was supposed to be experiencing his best week yet. According to the left-wing activists disguised as journalists, this was supposed to be the week that Biden officially buried Trump. Biden was supposed to see such a spike in his approval numbers that there'd be no way that Trump could ever make up such a deficit. That's what we were told was going to happen this week. But as it turns out, reality is a hard thing to grasp when you're suffering from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And if you are a Democrat, the reality that this week is turning out to be a total and complete nightmare is starting to seep in. By all accounts, even from the left, like we talked about in yesterday's video, which you definitely want to check out. You want to see that because it's such a laugh to see the left, what they're saying about this convention. One person actually said, please talk me off this cliff. I'm ready to jump. I'm realizing what an absolute disaster this whole thing is turning out to be, and the Democrats have no chance in November. Somebody talk me off this cliff. You're going to love it. But by all accounts, the convention is a complete and total disaster. Look at this. Here's something the Marxist media just can't spin. When you go onto YouTube, virtually every mainstream media platform hosting a live stream feed of the convention had their stream flooded with dislikes. In some cases, the dislikes far outweighed the likes. NBC and ABC's live streams had around 50% dislikes. Same with PBS. Now this had a whopping 60% majority of dislikes. Fox News had a 99% dislike ratio. Same with Mike Bloomberg's channel. He got trolled with 99% dislikes. And that was the reaction of those who happened to watch the convention. As it turns out, the ratings are in, and they're every bit as disastrous as this convention is. Viewership for the Democrat National Convention is down nearly 30% from last year. Now, maybe that's merciful, given how cringeworthy the convention has been thus far. The so-called cringevention. Maybe it's all an act of mercy to limit the humiliation. It's interesting because we know who is actually watching the convention. We know that by how the far left outlets MSNBC and CNN have actually seen their viewership spike. MSNBC drew over 5 million viewers, which is an astonishing number for MSNBC. It was about 500,000 more viewers than from last convention. CNN got nearly 5 million viewers, though that was down 1 million from 2016. By contrast, Fox averaged only 2.1 million viewers, which isn't even half of what Tucker Carlson or what Hannity could get in a single night. So clearly it's the far left in the nation that's tuning into this convention, this cringevention. And there's just not enough of them to make up for the overall deficit in viewership from last year. And again, our last convention. And again, it should be noted that these far left activists are admitting that this is a complete catastrophe of a convention. Fox News' Laura Ingraham summarized the speaker list from last night as a showcase of a veritable who's who of failures and losers. You had the one-term disaster Jimmy Carter featured. You had the failed presidential candidate John Kerry give his speech. And then you actually had Bill Clinton lecturing President Trump on what the Oval Office was supposed to be used for. How do you make this stuff up? And to add insult to injury, there's now a new photo that just surfaced on the very night Clinton spoke of him with one of Epstein's young accusers. We'll have a separate video on that for our next video. So you had the lineup of losers headlining the speaker's list. Then you had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in her 60 seconds that was allotted to her. And not only did she not mention Biden once in her speech, but she actually then turned around and formally nominated Bernie Sanders for president. Now, I told you that was going to happen. We predicted that on this channel. We knew that was going to happen. And we knew it was going to happen because the Democrats are in the midst of their own civil war that's going on at two fronts. There's a civil war with the Bernie bros, and there's a civil war with the Black Lives Matter crowd. The BLM crowd wants to get rid of the old white liberals like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, while the Bernie bros want to get rid of the old neoliberals, the globalist establishment liberals. So we knew this convention was going to have quite the few hiccups. Rashida Tlaib, the radical leftist Democrat representative, she still refuses to endorse Joe Biden. So we knew there were going to be unity issues, which again exposes what a hypocritical liar John Kasich is, the one-time Republican candidate for presidential nomination who claimed that Biden was actually going to unify the country. I mean, it's so blatantly, idiotically untrue. It literally brings, a fabricated lies to a whole new level. Biden cannot even unite his party. How the hell is he going to unite the nation that's more divided than at any other time in the last 150 years? So you've got that embarrassment. And then, as if that weren't humiliating enough, Sleepy Joe shows up. His wife, Jill Biden, just gave her rather underwhelming speech. And Joe comes in on camera and gives her a hug. And he said, I kid you not, you can watch it for yourself. He looked into the camera and he said, "Hi, everyone. I'm Joe Biden's husband." I listened to it several times to see if I could hear any semblance of the ill in Jill. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Listen for yourself. He unequivocally says, Joe. I'm Joe Biden's husband. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe he's being allowed on camera at this point. Do you remember when he was confronted by reporters to whether he took a cognitive test? He was being interviewed by a black reporter. It was CBS News' Errol Barnett, who was hosting an event with the National Association of Black Journalists. And he asked Biden as to whether he took a test that would assess his mental fitness. And Biden snaps at him and says, "No way, I haven't taken a test like that. What the hell? Why would I take a test like that? Come on, man." And then in typical Biden fashion, he stepped into it even further. He actually asked this interviewer, Barrett, if he was a junkie. Biden was like, that's like saying you, before you got this program, if you took a test, if you were taking cocaine or not. What do you think? What are you, some kind of junkie? It was a bit of a rambling response, but basically Biden was asserting that were he to take such a test, it would confirm that there were indeed concerns about his cognitive health. But again, given that it's Biden, it's very hard for him to speak intelligibly. Now, to make things even worse for good old Joe, he actually boasted back at the end of June that he did in fact take a cognitive function test and pass with flying colors. So what's going on here? And again, this was back in June, the end of June, June 30th, when under pressure from reporters about a supposed cognitive decline, Biden actually claimed that he's been constantly tested. and that he has in fact taken a cognitive function test but refused to release the results, just reassuring us that he's passed such testing with flying colors. Come on, man. But now he's denying that he ever got tested for his cognitive functioning skills. And he was insulted by the question. So which is it? Well, given the fact that he can't even pronounce mental fitness without stumbling, I think we have our answer. And I'll be honest, I don't think Joe Biden remembers what he said on June 30th. I don't think he can remember that far back, to be honest. Hence why his inner circle are so scared to death about the upcoming debates. Now, needless to say, none of this is good for Biden, and we've talked about this before, but it's certainly apropos to today's video. A recent Zogby poll asked over 1,000 likely voters, do you believe that Joe Biden, the presumed Democrat Party nominee, do you believe that Biden, oh, by the way, he is now official, is he in the early stages of dementia? A solid majority of Americans, 55%, do in fact believe that Joe Biden is in the early stages of dementia. Young people too. They were particularly concerned. 60% of voters between the ages of 18 and 26 believe Biden exhibits early onset dementia. So this kind of banter, this I'm, Joe Biden's wife, this stammering, this forgetfulness, his insulting his questioners. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. The combination of his stammering, his stuttering, his angry responses, it doesn't bode well when nearly 60% of the polled population believes you're in the early stages of dementia. Okay. Again, I think it bears repeating. Biden is an extraordinarily weak candidate. We can forget that Biden was a disaster at the Iowa caucus, which itself was a disaster. It took us days to find out who won that. And then a couple of weeks later, he came in 5th place in New Hampshire. He didn't even break double digits. He didn't break 10% of the vote in either the caucus or the first primary. It was utterly humiliating. No candidate who placed 5th in New Hampshire has ever gone on to win the presidency. And by the looks of the cringevention and its disastrous ratings, we can expect the exact same results in November. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how celebrities are fleeing Hollywood in droves, and Macy's is leaving Chicago, all as Democrat-ruined cities have begun to officially implode. You are not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.